The services were started then, and I was seated on the platform over to this side, and a lot of the people now who I've been away from for a year and a half, some of them, my own congregation, started to come up in the healing line. One woman, her name was Sister Lick, L-I-C-K. Very unusual name. And of all the people that Brother Branham called, he calls her by name. He said, "Go your ways, Mrs. Lick." And he told all about her child, nervous child, the condition of the family because of it. It was exactly the same, exactly as he described it. Then there was a long line of people that were up for healing. It didn't look like Brother Branham was going to get through them all, and it was still lined up against the wall down there. Brother Branham was standing here with his back this way, and we were standing also, and I don't know whether, because it was the end, he'd come to the end, and we were singing. I can't recall exactly, but I was standing, and right next to me on my right-hand side was a very intellectual theologian man who was pastor in Grand Prairie, the city we'd just come from. His name was Paul Cornish. And as we stood there, Brother Branham, he's got his back to us. All I can do, I'll just describe exactly what happened. He's talking to somebody like this. "The boy will be all right." And then just carried on. Now, I couldn't understand what he said, and it wasn't the voice. It wasn't that he startled me, but there actually was a movement, a presence that just went whoosh, like that. And when that happened, it startled me. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what he had said. And the man beside me, who's a very stately statesman type of man, he had just, it like somebody had hit him in the stomach, and he went over forward. He was bent right in two. He was sobbing, sobbing, sobbing. I thought, what's happening? What's happening? What was said? You know, and I'm totally startled. I'm absolutely dismayed. Something has swept past me. I know that. This man who you very seldom get a movement out of him, here he's caving into the floor, weeping. Brother Branham has screamed something. I don't know, what is it? What's taking place? When Brother Cornish stood up, he touched me on my elbow. He said, "Brother Eddie," he said, "see down the healing line, down towards the end, see that young boy?" I said, "Yes." He said, "That's my son." And he said, if he's not healed, he's up for operation on Tuesday morning, this coming Tuesday morning. And here, Brother Branham, just what he said was, "The boy will be all right." And that thing just swept by. You see, friends, he was in a realm that we know nothing about. The best I can explain it to you, on Deep Calls to the Deep, if you haven't seen that video, that picture, you young people get that right away when you've done with Brother Byskal's testimony, because on there he says, now how many people dream dreams? And he said, now there are some that don't dream dreams. He said, when you dream a dream, he said, your conscious is over here, your subconscious is here. When you dream a dream, you kind of go into that twilight zone. The conscious and the subconscious come close together. He said there are some people don't dream dreams because he says their subconscious and their conscious remain too far apart, and they don't dream dreams. He said they're born that way. He said, and then those that dream dreams, the conscious and the subconscious move close together. But he said with the prophet, they come right together. He doesn't go to sleep to see his dream, see. That's the vision. They come right together. So but now if you have a dream, you wake up in the morning and say, dear, I had a dream. Oh, the most incredible dream. Science proves to you, you had that dream in about a quarter of a second. As fast as I snapped my finger, you had the whole dream. But in real time, it takes you 10 or 15 minutes to tell the dream. You understand? So now here's a prophet with those both right together. And he told me, he said, sometimes, Brother Eddie, before I come out, he said he's shown me that there'll be a woman up in the balcony in a yellow coat, and there's a man down here in the middle, and the demon that's in her is going to link up with the demon that's in this man. They're going to war against you. Have no fear. I'll be with you. And so many details would just flood his the human mind can't take it. It's just like in your subconscious. You see all this, you see it in just a fraction of a second, but you can't relate it. So Brother Branham had to go slowly and tell these people these things. He knew volumes of it before he even came. And the vision wasn't as though he's seeing a scene in Technicolor. Please understand this. His visions were that he had stepped into another realm. He was actually there. And that's why he wouldn't know, is this a patient? He didn't know if he was in reality and this was a person, or was he in the vision? Because in the vision, the person was just the same. He told me about the man in Bombay. You excuse, I just have to keep relating these things as they come. The man in Bombay that was healed, he said he saw the man and he was a sun worshiper and his eyes were destroyed. But he said to me, he said, I saw him start to move. I could see in the vision that he could see. He said, then he had to kind of come out of it, he said. And because he said, in the vision, he noticed that he was going a little gray right here at the temples with a sideburn. And then he kind of shake his head and look in the reality where he was in the present, and he saw that his sideburns were black. So he said, I knew that he was going to have his vision. He said, then I had to exercise my faith that he would be healed right then. And God gave him his sight right then. And there was even hundreds of soldiers and everything else could hardly protect Brother Branham. He told me they tried to tear his pants in little pieces so he'd have something that had touched him, because they're very given over to holy men and those things. But you see, that was the realm that he was in. And so he could call something out, and you'll hear it on the tape once in a while. You want to hear the Dawson Creek series? Right in the middle while he's preaching, he just calls out, he says, that's all right, Mr. Durney. That's all right. Don't worry about it. He's on another one. I believe he calls to Brother Banks Woods, or one of the people from Jeffersonville. And he's over in Phoenix or Tucson. And he just calls out right while he's preaching. Don't worry about it. It's going to be all right. He gives them the name right while he's preaching. Because he's in another realm and he's picking this up and picking that up. And he just can't pick it all up. Oh, it's all getting milky now. Just moving from here to there to everywhere. Oh, my brother, my sister, no nation, no people, no generation ever had such a vindication as this one. How we ought to, no young people have ever been brought up to know these things. And you're hearing it from a living witness. We were there.